talk a little bit about how did the whole concept of why did you ever think, I'm going to start a film festival? Like, what was the impetus for you starting the festival?
Yeah, it was. I like the way you said, I'm going to start it. And it wasn't a statement, it was a question. Jeremy Decker, Jason Levering, and myself, the three people that started it.
Yeah.
2005, I think we went to Kearney, town that you probably know well. And we went to a little film festival there. And, it was a little performance theater. This is the origin story, a little performance theater. And they had a card table with a projector on it. And they had a little pop-up screen on the stage. And they showed a bunch of films, right? So
was it at the World Theater, or do you know where it was at?
I don't think it was at the World. I think it was a smaller theater, and I have to look it up. I need to button the story up because that's a good question. But I don't think it was there. I think it was smaller.
Okay.
But maybe that would be cool, right?
Yeah.
But anyway, so we went there, and it was great. The films weren't always amazing, but that's okay. Like, you're sitting in the audience, and all the filmmakers are sitting there with you, and we're watching stuff and inspired, and the Q&As would get up, and then the thing that was my favorite part of it was after all the films were done, we all went to the bar, and then all the people that were at the film festival were sitting at the bar with us. So I'm sitting at a table with 24 people that are like me, right? I mean, it's people that are film enthusiasts and filmmakers, and I'm like, oh, this is people. Yeah, I've never been around this many of this kind of person before. So it was the ultimate geek fest as far as that goes. And so we were there for a couple of days, and super inspirational and just fun, kind of got away. Jeremy and Jason had a videography business themselves before. So they were kind of one of the sponsors of one of the prizes. So that's kind of, why we were there. And anyway, late night, we're driving home down the interstate back to Omaha. Jeremy's in the back seat, and he pops his head up, and he's like, why doesn't Omaha have a film festival?
Good question.
We're like, I mean, yeah, and Jeremy's always, he's certainly of the, and anyone that knows the three of us and have seen us around, he's the goofball. We're like, well, I tell you what, you start to build it. This is Jason and me in the front seat, really. You start to build it, and then we'll be there to support you. We'll do everything we can to make it cool. And, but just, you do the research and thinking that nothing would happen. Right. And then, he works for, if you know Omaha, so he works for TD Ameritrade. It seems like every 6 months they lay off half of their workforce. Sorry for anyone that works there. But he was in one of those cuts, right? So he right away when we got back, he lost his job, has a kid, has a mortgage, has a wife. So instead of going out and finding a new job, he spent literally 3 months just like on message boards and like researching how to make a film festival. So he put the blueprint into the groundwork, laid the foundation of what we still are today. And just, kind of got our name out there early on. And we're like, 3 months later, we're sitting in a Buffalo Wild Wings chatting about it. It's like, all right, we're doing this, right? I guess this thing is happening. So we did our call for entries, is the thing you do when you're a film festival. And he got us on the right platform. And like I said, we were international that first year. It was a real shock how fast it kind of grew. And then, fast forward 18 years later. So that first year, I think there were 2,500 film festivals, and now there's over 12,000. Like, it's
crazy how it's grown. Yeah.
It's crazy how it's grown. Like there's, we're the big one in Omaha, but now there's a handful of, like, between Lincoln and there's one in Seward and Fremont. And there's a handful of festivals here, which, 8 years ago, we couldn't say that because we were just it. But you go out to Los Angeles, and every weekend there's 6 film festivals. Yeah, there's one in Burbank, and there's one in NoHo, and there's one in so.
No, it's really hard to sift through.
How do you navigate it?
Great job. You guys rank really well in terms of festivals, and so you guys are getting some high quality content. But as a filmmaker, it's really hard to sift through, like, who's who, what's what. I can't imagine what it would have been like pre-Film Freeway. I don't know if you guys started on Film Freeway straight away or when you guys got, but it makes it so seamless and easy to do the research and just click
Yeah.
some buttons and voila, you're submitted. I can't imagine prior to that actually manually like sending off DVDs to lots and lots of festivals. And yeah, and you can see why there's more festivals, because it really is easier to manage now in the digital era than it would have been
Right.
if you were getting all this stuff in the mail and having to sort it out and put it in filing systems, and that would have been really tedious. But
Yeah.
Film Freeway, I don't know like how you guys have engaged with them, but I feel like it's really, that when I learned about Film Freeway, it really revolutionized my whole thinking about film festivals and everything. So you talk a little bit about kind of your connection with them and how that all
Yeah.
works.
We exist before Film Freeway. There was a company called Without a Box, and they were similar. There was a big database of film festivals, and then there was the trades. The trades out in Los Angeles, and it's like where if you can get yourself in a publication of some sort, which is reserved for Cannes and the Toronto and Sundance and things like that. The ones that everybody kind of knows about. So yeah, trying to raise your hand in Omaha, Nebraska, and say, hey, we're out here, and so it was certainly a challenge, and then people are like, all right, I found out that you're out there, but who cares, right? I mean, you're in Omaha. Isn't that the city that I fly over? It's like, well, yeah, it is. So yeah, then you try and do, then your world is about not only letting the world know that you exist, but then I think hopefully showing the world that you're cool, right?
Yeah.
That the thing that you're doing is valid and worthwhile. And, I'm a filmmaker, and I've got now, 7,000 film festivals, 10,000 film festivals, 12, that I can enter. Why do I want to select that one? So it's, that's our job now, is not just managing putting together a cool live event, but also trying to create an event that's good for attendees, good for the community, good for our sponsors, but then ultimately good for the filmmakers, because they could have went anywhere. They could have paid their entry fee, and they could have went to any film festival, and they came to Omaha. And now, here we are, and let's have a good experience. So that's one of the pieces of feedback that we get from a lot of our filmmakers that attend. They've I remember pretty early on, we had a filmmaker came to Omaha, for crying out loud, why am I in Omaha? And he was just in Tribeca, the previous iteration of Tribeca, which big deal, Robert De Niro and New York City and all that. And he's like, like that was awesome, of course, being a filmmaker at Tribeca. But he said, I went to a theater on a street, and I walked in, and there's a couple signs and stuff, and then we had our movie, we did our Q&A, and then we left, and the experience was over. But he says, now when I walk into the Omaha Film Festival, and yeah, Kirk, you've been there, you walk in, and it's like the whole lobby, and it's like there's lights and there's signs and there's people, and everyone's walking around in their shirt like you have on right now, the Omaha Film Festival shirt. Yay. And we have multiple theaters, and we're showing a feature film or a documentary or a short films in this thing, and there's after parties, and there's stuff that's happening. So it's I feel like it's hopefully a better experience than just going to I always use the example of, let's go see a movie. We're going to go see Charlie's Angels 15, and we go and we sit, we watch, and we have popcorn, and then we leave. And then you sort of forget about that experience, but hopefully when you come to a film festival, and, ours in particular, there's a Q&A. So you're able to listen to the filmmaker, maybe a couple actors talk about the thing that they just did. You see the credits roll on a regular movie, and it's like, well, I have questions. Wait, so now you have to interact. And then if you're too shy to raise your hand in the audience, like the filmmaker comes out the front door with everybody else, and you're able to talk to them, sitting in the lounge, walking through the hallway. And then we have after parties every night. A lot of our filmmakers attend those, and it's a real opportunity to really delve into the art of it. If you choose, like if you guys talk about networking and how important that is, and I'm always on that soapbox. If you want to do something, you kind of have to be around people that are kind of doing that thing. That'll make you better. It'll make them better. And that synergy stuff will, it just improves it. And I think it makes your life more fun too. When, if whatever your thing is, if I play the trumpet, and you can play the trumpet in your bedroom your whole life, or you can go out and find other people that do that same thing. And then, hey, let's learn. Oh, show me how you did that. Or then you find a guy who plays a trombone and a drum, and now you've got a band. So I think that's the cool part of having a live event and having people from different walks able to get together and put together something pretty cool.
Hey, Riley here. Thanks for listening to this episode of the Make a Move podcast. For more content, check us out on all major social media platforms and makeamovepodcast.com. Until next time, get off your butt and make a move.